Stop killing games. Most of you already know what this is, or you have, just like me, watched a bunch of videos about it, or maybe both. But I haven't seen anyone talk about this movement in contrast to how other industries are rapidly moving in the same direction, and how it's actually affecting us a lot more than most of us understand. And we as gamers and consumers needs to be made more aware. I'm taking a break at work to record this, but I understand. I am the smallest tuber of you here, but I really need to toss my hat into the ring because I'm very passionate about business models and general practices and development on this front. So I want to talk a little bit about it. And I have a cheat sheet up here if I'm looking up a lot, like that. So simply put, games have always been, or for a very long time at least, been considered to be a perpetual product. You bought the game, you own the game. Same with music and movies, for example. Not to the point that you could distribute it yourself, of course, but you could play it whenever you wanted to. Now, the problem with this from a business standpoint is that it's a one-time transaction. You buy the game, you get the game, end of transaction. And what happens here is that as a result, the companies have to put in a lot of money into sales to try to boost the one-time sale or one-time purchases. So they can't really predict the revenue over the year, right? And through the years, we as gamers and consumers have been through the fiery hoops of how the industries have tried to solve this money issue. And we're talking microtransactions, early access, broken games that will be patched later, chapter-based games, like you name it. We've been through it all. And they're not dumb. They're looking at what other industries are doing, and they're simply trying to follow suit. So what is happening in other industries is that they are moving away from perpetual product and perpetual licenses into subscription-based. And we're talking about a lot of different industries. Like in the creative space, we have the Adobe and the Office programs, for example. In the security space, we have VPN services or antiviruses or firewall services. It spans so much wider than we think. It even spans into, technically speaking, into like the medical field and the healthcare. It just spans wide, right? So from a business standpoint, subscription-based is great because you can predict the revenue, during the year, which means that you can put less money into sales and more into development and support. But the companies that they have looked at are working in a model called B2B, business to business, and not so much B2C, business to customer or business to end customer. And so what's happening right now in the gaming industry, which by the way is B2C, is that they're taking note from the B2B model, but they're disregarding the end customer protection and general praxis when it comes to the B2B. Okay, so they are moving away from the product mindset to the service mindset. And that in and of itself is not really a problem unless the product is attached to a service, and if you remove this service, it will render the product useless. Now, there we have a problem. There's the problem, all right? So, in short, Stop Killing Games aims to protect the product aspects of games, and they just want clear transparency. That's it. That's the simplest way to put it. So, in other fields that have moved from perpetual to subscription-based, you'll find very important key components like end of sales EOS and end of life EOL. Usually they have end of support there as well, usually anyway. But this means that from the very get-go, or as soon as it can be decided, the company will inform the users of the end of sale and end of life. Okay, so the point where the product and service will no longer be sold, the producer will inform. So they will say, okay, we won't sell this anymore, and in 2 years from that point, we won't have, it will be end of life. That's transparency, by the way, in case you're wondering. That it's really that simple. So they also often come with some sort of contingency plan, like they're heavily reducing the next product or If you want to continue with this particular hardware, you get discount on the software that needs to be connected to it to function, for example. So they just have a lot of effort into contingency plans, because B2B knows that if they mess around, they will lose all of their customers. But Ubisoft, or however you want to say it, is protected under their B2C model, because they can just abandon project and move on to the next one. They don't have to consider all the things that is super important in the B2B. That's the problem. It's a bit like you buy a router and the seller from the store comes to your home and removes the antenna and the Ethernet cable and the power cable and going, well, you can keep the router, but these are not included anymore. It's pretty to look at, so you can keep it. That doesn't make any sense. That sounds absolutely ridiculous. And I know that the game Crew has been brought up as an example a lot, and that's because that game in and of itself was prepared to work as a perpetual product, but it did something called, I think it's called calling home, and usually this is to prevent cheating or double checking that you have paid for the service. But when the product was attached to the service that tried to call home to a server that didn't exist anymore, it effectively killed the product. That shouldn't be okay. So stop killing games. Simply want games to be left in a playable state, or in case where that's not possible, they want EOL transparency. They're not trying to push developers into some unreasonable corner or strict laws or regulations, but you can't take half of a business model, the one that benefits you the most, and completely just ignore and disregard the rest of it, the one part that keeps the customer in mind. It doesn't work like that. So I know a lot of you probably clicked this video to feed into the pirate drama that's been attached to this whole topic, but I really don't want to feed into drama, because I feel like it's really taking away from what this movement is all about. But I will say one thing, and it's the easiest way to spot the most intelligent person in the room is by simply looking for two traits. They are kind, which shows that they have evolved from being a freaking animal, and I mean the worst kind of animal. And secondly, when presented with new facts, they have the ability to say, I was wrong. Take that as you will. But those are really just two traits. Just look for that. You'll find the most intelligent person in the room. So this whole movement is actually way more interesting than what this drama entails, since it just spans across so many industries in so many situations right now. And if left unchecked, it's going to get worse. So stop killing games is just more important than any of us will actually ever understand. So if you haven't, just sign. I think they've already reached 1 million at this point. Last time I checked, it was 960. It went from 910 to 960 just today in a few hours. So that's absolutely crazy. But that's all I have to say about that. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.